I never thought I'd hear from my sister again. After 7 years of silence, her name appearing on my phone screen felt like seeing a ghost. My thumb hovered over the decline button, my heart pounding in my chest, memories flooding back of all the hurt and anger that had driven us apart. But something made me answer, and those 3 minutes would reshape everything I thought I knew about forgiveness, family, and the weight we carry when we refuse to let go. Our relationship hadn't always been broken. Growing up, Sarah and I were inseparable, sharing secrets under blankets with flashlights, defending each other on the playground, dreaming about our futures together. She was only 2 years older than me, but she felt like my protector, my best friend, the person who understood me better than anyone else in the world. Our childhood was filled with inside jokes, shared playlists, and the kind of bond that made other siblings jealous. Everything changed when our mother got sick. Cancer arrived like an uninvited storm, turning our family upside down in ways we never recovered from. I was 23, working my first real job and trying to build a life, while Sarah was 25, married, and living 2 states away. The distance between us wasn't just geographical anymore. It was emotional, a chasm that grew wider with every difficult decision we had to make about Mom's care. The fight started small, disagreements about treatment options and hospital visits, but they escalated into something much darker. Sarah thought I wasn't doing enough, that I was too focused on my career while Mom was dying. I thought she was judging me from afar, swooping in on weekends to play the perfect daughter while I was there every single day, watching our mother fade away. The resentment built up like poison between us, and neither of us knew how to drain it. The final explosion happened at Mom's funeral. In front of everyone, family and friends gathered to mourn, Sarah accused me of being selfish, of not truly loving our mother the way she did. I said things back that I can't take back, words that cut deep and were designed to hurt. We screamed at each other in the parking lot while people watched from the church doors, our grief turning into rage, our pain finding the nearest target. That was the last time we spoke. In the years that followed, I convinced myself I was better off without her. I built a life that didn't include my sister, celebrated birthdays and holidays with friends instead of family, and told myself that some relationships are too broken to fix. My therapist gently suggested that maybe I was carrying more pain than I admitted, but I brushed it off. I was fine. I had moved on. At least, that's what I told everyone, including myself. But the truth was, I thought about Sarah constantly. Every major moment in my life felt incomplete without her there. When I got promoted, when I bought my first house, when I went through a devastating breakup, there was always this hollow space where my sister should have been. I'd see something funny and instinctively reach for my phone to text her before remembering we didn't do that anymore. The absence of her became a constant presence in my life. I stalked her social media sometimes, late at night when I couldn't sleep, watching her life unfold in carefully curated photos. She had 2 kids now, a boy and a girl I'd never met. They had her smile, our mother's eyes. I was an aunt who didn't know her niece and nephew, and they didn't know they had another aunt out there who wondered about them all the time. It felt surreal and devastating in equal measure. My father tried to mediate a few times in the early years, but eventually even he gave up, exhausted by our stubbornness. He'd mention Sarah occasionally, testing the waters, and I'd change the subject immediately. Other family members took sides or tried to stay neutral, but holidays became awkward, divided affairs. Our broken relationship didn't just affect us. It fractured the entire family structure that remained after Mom's death. Then came that phone call. It was a Tuesday evening. I remember because I was making dinner, something simple after a long day at work. When I saw her name, I actually thought it might be a mistake, a pocket dial or something. But I answered anyway, my voice coming out shakier than I intended, just saying hello like it hadn't been 7 years of silence between us. Sarah's voice sounded different, older somehow, but unmistakably hers. She said my name, just my name, and I could hear her crying. For a moment, neither of us said anything, just the sound of her tears and my held breath filling the space between our phones. Then she said the words I never expected to hear. "I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for everything." She didn't make excuses or try to justify what had happened. She simply took responsibility for her part in our falling out, acknowledging the cruel things she'd said, the way she'd judged me during the worst period of my life. She told me she'd been in therapy for 2 years, working through her own grief about Mom, and had finally realized how much of her anger at me was really anger at herself, at the cancer, at the unfairness of losing our mother too soon. Sarah explained that becoming a mother herself had changed her perspective on everything. She understood now what it meant to be overwhelmed, to make mistakes, to do your best and still feel like you're failing. She thought about how she'd want her own children to treat each other, and she was ashamed that we'd let our relationship die when we could have helped each other heal instead. Her daughter had asked about me recently, having seen old photos, and Sarah realized she didn't want to pass down this legacy of broken family ties. As she spoke, something inside me began to crack. All the armor I'd built up over 7 years, all the convincing myself that I didn't need her, all the buried pain I'd refused to process, it all came rushing to the surface. I started crying too, silently at first, then in big gasping sobs that shook my entire body. I realized I'd been waiting for this, hoping for it even while telling myself I'd moved on. I told her I was sorry too, and I meant it. I apologized for my part in our fight, for the harsh words I'd said at the funeral, for being too proud to reach out first all these years. I admitted that I'd been hurt and angry and scared during Mom's illness, and I'd taken it out on her because she was there, because she was safe to be angry at when I couldn't be angry at cancer or fate or God. We were both just grieving, terrible at it, and we'd destroyed each other in the process. We talked for almost 3 hours that night. She told me about her kids, about her life, about the struggles and joys I'd missed. I told her about my career, my relationships, the ways I'd grown and changed. We laughed about silly childhood memories and cried about Mom, really cried together for the first time since she'd died. It felt like excavating something that had been buried, painful but necessary, like setting a broken bone so it could finally heal properly. Sarah asked if we could meet in person, and I agreed immediately. 2 weeks later, I drove to her house, my stomach in knots the entire way, wondering if this reconciliation would feel as real face to face. But when she opened the door, she looked at me with such love and relief that I knew this was real. We hugged for a long time, both of us crying again, and her kids watched curiously from behind her legs. Meeting my niece and nephew was overwhelming in the best way. They were shy at first, but within an hour they were showing me their toys and telling me stories, completely unaware of the significance of the moment. I saw Sarah in their faces, our mother too, and I felt this profound sense of loss for all the time I'd missed but also gratitude that I hadn't missed everything. There was still time to be part of their lives, to be the aunt I'd always wanted to be. In the months since that phone call, Sarah and I have been slowly rebuilding our relationship. It hasn't been perfect or easy. Sometimes old hurts resurface, and we have to talk through them carefully. But we're committed now, both of us, to not letting pride or anger destroy what we've reclaimed. We text regularly, visit when we can, and we're honest about our feelings in ways we never were before, even when we were close. What Sarah's apology taught me is that it's never too late to heal if both people are willing to try. I'd spent 7 years believing our relationship was beyond repair, that too much had been said and done to ever go back. But forgiveness isn't about going back. It's about moving forward differently, with more wisdom and less ego. It's about recognizing that people can grow, that pain can transform into understanding, and that love can survive even the deepest wounds if we let it. I also learned that holding on to anger and resentment hurts us more than it hurts anyone else. Those 7 years of estrangement didn't punish Sarah. They punished me, robbing me of connection and family and the support system I needed during difficult times. My pride and hurt had kept me isolated, and I'd convinced myself it was strength when really it was just fear. Fear of being vulnerable enough to forgive and risk being hurt again. Our reconciliation hasn't just changed my relationship with Sarah. It's changed me fundamentally. I'm more willing to have difficult conversations now, to address conflicts instead of letting them fester. I'm more aware of how grief and pain can make us lash out at the people we love most. I'm more committed to maintaining the relationships that matter, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. Sometimes I think about what would have happened if Sarah hadn't made that call, if she'd let pride or fear stop her from reaching out. We would have continued living separate lives, missing birthdays and holidays and all the ordinary moments that make up a relationship. Eventually, maybe we would have reconnected at another funeral, our father's perhaps, and we'd have to live with the regret of all that wasted time. I'm so grateful she was brave enough to break the silence, to risk rejection and make herself vulnerable by apologizing first. Now when I look at my life, Sarah is woven back into it in ways both big and small. She's the person I call when something good happens, the one who understands my childhood references and family dynamics without explanation. Her kids are teaching me to be more playful and present. I'm learning what it means to be part of their lives, showing up for school plays and birthday parties, being a consistent presence they can count on. It's everything I didn't know I was missing. My estranged sister's unexpected apology didn't just change everything. It gave me back a part of myself I'd lost when we stopped speaking. It proved that love is more powerful than pride, that healing is possible even when the wounds run deep, and that family, real family, is worth fighting for even when it's easier to walk away. 7 years of silence ended with 3 words from her, "I'm so sorry," and those words opened the door to a future I'd stopped believing in. For that gift, that chance to have my sister back, I'll be grateful for the rest of my life.